all these virtual meetings are interesting at best, even after a year going through this. And Luke has been tremendous throughout this entire past year. Getting these things up and running and operating throughout the entire process. And Kenneth, I know, has been helping with a lot of the stuff. I haven't been very much help at all lately, so they've been doing a wonderful job getting things together and really moving us forward. So I appreciate all the effort that everybody's been putting together to get these things running and up. More on a personal note, just to let everybody know, since I haven't really sent out a blanket email to everybody, I am leaving the city as of next week. So this is my last week with the city of Memphis. I am moving over to the private side, and I will send out information for everybody to have my new contact information once everything's kind of finalized. I officially start next Wednesday. So it will be an odd new trip for me, I would think, because I'm a little kind of geared towards, I think, the public side of things, but it should be a new adventure. And those of our friends on the line that are on the private side, I'll probably be reaching out to some of you for advice at times as I'm kind of working my way through the new systems. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Luke Dixon for the Vice President's report.
Yeah, I'll probably just defer to the meeting schedule. Just skip me for now. That's pretty much my whole report's about the upcoming meeting and summer meeting, all meetings. So
yeah, I think that was always my response to my report also. So. So let's go ahead and go with Mr. Kenneth. Kenneth, if you can give the Secretary Treasurer report, sir. Kenneth, if you're speaking, I can't really hear you at all.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right. Yep. So I don't have much to present. Today, throughout the meeting, I glanced over at the number, kind of went up and down, but I think we got up to 112 people. I counted. You guys may have saw a different number there. And another, just want to give a big thank you to Luke. He's really been, I guess, helping me out through a lot of this. So I appreciate it, Luke. That's it for me.
No problem.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kenneth. Moving on to the next report, we have the Tennessee Section Representative Report. I don't see. Oh, there's Jason. So, Jason, or were you or Zane going to give the report today? I didn't actually check with you two beforehand.
Yeah. Hey, it's Zane. I do not have anything to report unless Jason does.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
I'd say just a couple of things to mention. First of all, I think most of you got the email, but at the Southern District meeting, we had two of our members get awards. Hollis.
I'm in. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. All right, bye.
Steve, we hear you.
Keeps it from running all over the place.
I preference the beginning of the meeting for that. So
there you go. But we had two of our members received Southern District awards. Hollis received the Herman Hoos Distinguished Service Award, and Dr. Hahn at UT received the Engineering Educator Award. So in case you didn't get the email, just that's worth pointing out because those are both very high awards from the district.
Yes, sir. And thank you for pointing that out, Jason. That's 2 years in a row now, at least. I remember the last 2 years. The memory gets faulty past that. But I know last year we had a lot of our section win awards, and this year with Hollis. And hello? Hello, can you guys hear me again?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. This lovely little device was decided to power down on me. Okay, so moving on. We got to get through this, or else everything I think in City Hall might break on me. Our next one is the section administrator's report. Mr. Brandon Baxter, do you have your report ready, sir?
Yes. So I think maybe Luke, pull up the financial report. This was sent out, I think, to everybody this morning. I'll go through it briefly. Our income, I think we're in a sound position financially. We've had some incoming funds for this quarter, a transfer from PayPal for remaining balances from the end of 2020. We've gotten the dues disbursement from ITE International. And then also we've had some pretty generous and sponsors coming in online so far for this year, and that's great. I think that's been helping us get into a good position. Expenditures, we had a sizable scholarship fund deposit that you can see there. We had some of our annual costs related to section insurance and annual report filing with the Secretary of State that's necessary for our nonprofit status. I also filed our taxes. And then I think the biggest one that I'll mention, and I don't know if this was on the agenda later on, but the officers did receive an opportunity to make a donation to an endowment fund that Vanderbilt University set up to honor Dr. Bob Stammer, who was retiring. The officers decided to make a one-time $2,000 donation to that endowment for student development. So that was also made just a couple of weeks ago. So that's showing up on the expenditures as well. Our scholarship fund balance it grew with that deposit at the end of March. It was 47,000 and some change above that. Moving into the next quarter, we're talking to the Park Vista. I think Luke's working out details for the meeting, and I've talked to Sarah up there about deposits and making sure that we are going to be in good standing for the payments that they need. One item I'll mention, we pay Constant Contact a monthly, it's about $38 and some change monthly for maintaining the email list and being able to do all the communication that we do through that. And starting this year, they've started offering a program of discounts for nonprofits and for organizations or people who pay annually instead of monthly. So I'm looking into that, but it could be a 20 to 30% savings just because of our nonprofit status and if we pay annually instead of monthly. So I think that might be a good thing. And then I know we're going to roll into committees in just a second, but I will mention that I did provide the information supporting the financial report to Kevin Cole. I did that very early this morning, and so if he has not had time to review that, that is because I provided it to him early this morning. So just mention that, and that'll wrap up my report. Stephen, if you want to carry on.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, up next is Mr. Kevin Cole. Kevin, did you have a chance to go through the numbers this morning?
Hi, good afternoon, Stephen. No, I had not. Thanks, Brandon, for sending them. I did receive them, so I will begin looking at that here in the next week, and I'll give a report on anything at the next meeting. But if there anything that does come up, I will reach out to Brandon in the meantime.
All right. Thank you very much, Kevin.
Stephen, Cindy has her hand up. I don't know. Does she have a question?
I have a quick question on
Yes,
the ending balance. Is that a typo for the year? Today is 5/26/2021, but it says 2020.
That will be corrected. Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome. Just checking. Thanks.
I just fixed it. I'll make sure the right one gets into the meeting minutes.
All right. Thank you, and thank you for catching that, Miss Cindy. All right. Our next committee is Nathan Vatter with awards, and Nathan, you've got the next couple with awards, nominations, and scholarships.
You bet. So we were busy submitting for the Southern District and ITE awards. Like you mentioned, we did have a couple winners out of that group, and the section came up as a runner-up for our section report. So appreciate what everyone did last year to make our section what it is, and be a runner up is pretty big deal as well. We have sent out a notice for awards for the TSITE awards, and we got some information back on that, but we still would like for the membership to nominate folks for the TSITE Edward Watt Award. Let's see, the Tennessee Section Outstanding Individual Service Award, TSITE Jack Humphreys Award for service for young members, and then we'll work with our outreach group for the Bob Stammer Student Chapter Award. So just to let you know, we'll send out some information on that, but be looking for, recognizing those folks in the TSITE world and, transportation community that really are deserving of recognition. So for nominations, we've met our committee for awards and scholarships and nominations, been pretty busy. For the nominations, we have got our candidates. They've accepted nominations, and I have stuff ready to go out for the election. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you who we have for the section rep candidates. They're going to be it's Blake Turner with T Squared, Brian Bartnick with TDOT, and Greg Dotson with Barge. So we're going to have 3 candidates for the section rep. Secretary candidates that have accepted nominations: Lauren Gaines and Diane Dameron. So we're very excited. We got a great group of folks that we've got nominated for upcoming elections. So we'll send out something soon following this meeting, opening up elections. That will be, and then we'll go through that for our summer meeting. For scholarships, we have 6 scholarship opportunities, and we there was a time where we didn't have hardly any applications, and then all of a sudden we got the word out, and I really appreciate everybody's help getting the word out. We ended up with 28 applications for our TSITE scholarships, and we've basically selected, and I'm not going to tell you who, but we've looked at and selected candidates from 6 different schools for that. So a lot of work has gone into that as well, and we'll be sending out some notices and inviting folks to the summer meeting soon. So that sort of wraps up the nominations, awards, and committees.
Thank you very much, sir. Our next committee presenter would be Mr. Brian Haas with the Career Development.
Hey, it's Brian Bartnick. Brian Haas couldn't make it, asked me to give our update this time. Semester just ended for the students, so there's not much going on. Hopefully they're all interning with some companies, and hopefully you've all got some good interns yourselves. I guess we do want to say congrats to our student paper winners. We've got our top 3 were all from UT this year, and we'll be announcing the Outstanding Student Chapter Award at the summer meeting. Other than that, I think that's about all we have.
Thank you very much, Brian. Let's see. Next, we have the Legislative Committee, and Michelle sent me an update of the legislative update. There's been a number of bills that have passed during this past session regarding logo boards, law enforcement cameras being allowed on interstates, OHV vehicles allowed on certain roads within Morgan County. I think originally that was they were trying to allow that to be a larger area, and the same with county. I'm not going to say it right. Unicoi, maybe UNICOI County.
That's correct.
Hey.
Unicoi.
Yeah, guessing works sometimes.
Cindy's got her hand up too. Just I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I don't see it. There. Okay, my thing scrolled down. Miss Cindy, did you have a comment?
No, I can't figure out how to get the thing to go away.
I think you might just click the same button again.
Oh, now it went. Good deal. Thanks.
I thought you liked those off-road vehicles on the interstate, maybe.
No.
And so there's And there was another thing about removing the attendance requirements for signing for colleges. So you have a number of them regarding the signs that we put at interstate exits and things of that nature. But then you have the two OHV rules for those two counties, which, I mean, personally, I believe that sets a bad precedence, and I'm personally not overly fond of that progressing through the state. The law enforcement surveillance cameras being allowed on interstates. It seems to be the way that we're going nationally now. So I'm actually fairly surprised that passed. I don't know if anybody else has comments or any input on those items. On the federal side, which isn't really part of our typical legislative update, today I know that they have passed through or sent up the bill for transportation infrastructure, and that conversation is continuing regarding a number of infrastructure items. Two state legislators today released a request for direct funding for a planning activity here in the city of Memphis for a third bridge over the Mississippi River, since we've had a crack in our bridge for the last 4 to 5 years or so. So there are a number of items that are moving right now. If you're very I guess involved on the legislative policy side of things, I tend to pay a lot of attention on that side. There's a lot of things moving, and there's constantly shifts currently with these different bills and the different items that are being added on and taken out as they go through these processes. So be mindful of how that's going to affect our funding levels and the regulations that we're going to have to deal with over the coming years with these changes. Our next update is the section relations update. Mr. Kenneth Perkins, are you providing that today?
I can. Narmeen just emailed it to us, so I can run through it really. Hey, I can run through it really quick, so no problem.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So I guess due to corona concerns, the TSITE board is still suspending in-person local area section meetings until further notice. I guess we can talk about that closer to the end of this meeting. I guess how we're going to proceed with that. The Knoxville area. The CAPA members have had their first meeting of the year on March the 4th. The APA Tennessee chapter, Knoxville area, they're having quarterly lunch and learn meetings virtually Thursday, or they had Thursday, March the 4th. And go down to the Chattanooga area, they had a joint meeting with IT student chapter at UTC on March the 25th. They met virtually, and Mr. Brogdon with Arcadis presented to the group. The Nashville area haven't held any meetings or conferences in the Nashville area for the past winter months. The Memphis area, no new activity from the Memphis section since last TSITE meeting. The next MPO meeting has been pushed back to August, and they will evaluate whether in-person meetings around that meeting makes sense. And the Tri-Cities, they haven't held any meetings or conferences calls in the Tri-area. I think that's it for the section relation report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kenneth. Our next committee is the technical committee. Mr. Peter Kaufman.
All right, thanks, Stephen. Two main things that technical committee is and will continue to be working on. The operations manual update, that's something that we're going to be looking at getting moving in earnest as we move into the summer. Regular updates and then a couple of special things going to be going into that this cycle. And then also webinars, with people starting to get back to in-person meetings, that's something that we're going to be looking at picking up into the summer and fall as the plethora of free webinar options that IT and others have been offering starts to taper off, and it makes sense to do gatherings for webinars again. So be looking for motion on those potentially as soon as the summer meeting.
Thank you very much, Peter. And our next committee president report is for the traffic ball, Trey. Mr. Trey.
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
We can, sir, or at least
Perfect.
I can.
So as everyone knows, UT represented us in Southern District. They did not make it past the first round. Other than that, I don't really have much of anything else.
Well, thank you, sir. Are you looking forward to having like an in-person traffic bowl next year?
Definitely. It'll be so much easier.
Yeah, it seemed amusing for everybody this year. So, but you guys did an amazing job, putting that stuff together the way that you did to get it all to run this year. So, I think all of us appreciate the time and effort that you and the team of people that were assisting you took to get that done.
Appreciate it. And as one last comment, since I have quite some lag time until I have to ramp up again, if anyone needs help with the committee, just please reach out to me.
Okay, thank you for letting us know that, Trey. We'll definitely talk with all the committee chairs and make sure that we have. I know some of the committees I think we're kind of light in, and I need to go back and spend some time looking at that, and I'll have a chat with the rest of the board about how we need to, fill these committees out and make sure that we have the appropriate amount of people focused on moving our section forward. And that's for anybody else that has a desire to be on a committee. If you want to send an email to us, I would say send an email to me, but my email is changing next week, probably. So I'll, if you send an email to me this week, I'll still get access to it. And I'll get that new email out to everybody by this weekend. That way, we don't have any drops in communication moving forward. But next on our agenda is the meeting schedule. Luke, would you like to go through the meeting schedule?
Sure. As Brandon talked about, we are planning to meet in person for the summer meeting, which is exciting. We weren't sure at the time, but the international meeting is unfortunately overlapping. It was the week before our summer meeting, but now they made it virtual and it's over 2 weeks now. But we're still planning to go in person. I think this has happened before, but we really didn't see a big drop in attendance numbers. So I think we're going to plan to stay the course and keep the same date for our meeting. And the fall meeting will be sometime in Chattanooga. We got the survey results. Do you want to talk about that now, Stephen, or do you, as far as the hybrid format, and that's skipping down?
No, I say we just go ahead and knock those items out. Okay. When you kind of put together the draft so generously for me of the business meeting, I thought that was a good place to have that in there, to leave it in there. But I think we can just handle all the meeting items right now as opposed to bouncing back and forth.
Okay. Let's see. There it is. So we've had pretty good response. We had about 60 people respond to the survey. And I was kind of surprised. We still have a lot of people that are maybes and no's and depends on the. I thought we'd have more. This is similar percentage what we saw back at the winter business meeting when I asked this question on the Minty polls. It's about 40% yes, we're coming. Everybody else 42% on the fence. So I asked, it's like we got 78% don't have travel restrictions now. We've got a few still do. And I've asked, what can make you feel more comfortable about meeting in person? It's like most people don't want temperature checks or meeting outside, especially in Gatlinburg. It's going to be hot. So I think we'll still try to do the Wednesday evening thing outside, but not have our meeting outside entirely for that reason. So this is the main question I want to talk about is, do we want to do all in person? Do we want to do hybrid? And let me tell you why, I guess. We got 3 options to do a hybrid format. Option 1 is to use the hotel's AV, and that was $8,000. So that's pretty much no go in my book. To have them run that's to have them run on the equipment and do everything for a virtual hybrid meeting, in-person meeting. Option 2 is to do it ourselves, where we buy the equipment and we do everything ourselves. It just requires an upgraded internet plan. But talking with the hotel, she said that they're not going to provide any support, and you're on your own pretty much. So you can do what you can do. And then option 3 is to hire another AV company outside the hotel, but then that's $500 a day you got to pay. So that pretty much a no-go as well. So doing the hybrid format, there's different levels too. So it depends. It's easy to have somebody call in and just listen, but to have a full virtual format where they can see everything and people online can talk as well as hear what's going on, and getting that, not having feedback with the audio system in the room, that's the ultimate, I guess. That's will be challenging, but I think having some kind of hybrid format, just even if they can listen, people online can listen in, but not actual talk. They may have to put their question in the chat box. And that may be more doable. So that's what I've got to figure out. Ask this question. Any questions on that?
Well, Luke, one item is the meeting. I know you were speaking with them regarding the rooms that we could use. Or are we going to be in the larger room and be more spread out if we're in person?
Yes, she said she could do that, and that wouldn't be any extra fee or charge.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that we're not going to be in the same space. There may be less of us, and so we should have enough room to spread out appropriately.
So I asked the question, if we have the hybrid format, how are you going to attend? I've got 47% said they're going to come in person. 32% are not sure. Depends on travel policy. It's 5 people. We got 8 people guaranteed online. So in the past, we've not charged for virtual meetings because it hasn't cost the club anything or organization. But whereas this, I think we would have to charge people that want to attend virtually, because there is a hotel cost and there's food costs and costs that TSITE's obviously incurring. And the more people that attend virtually and don't attend in person, the more our costs are going to be, more costs we have to offset with hotel.
Hey, Luke.
Hey,
it's Steve here. I would think I would charge them the full amount, whether they're there or not. And the only reason, if you make it cheaper, like right now, virtual meetings are free.
Yep.
If you make it cheaper, they say, don't travel, cheaper meeting. I still get everything out of it. So I just won't go. And then you're going to be suffering in the hotel end. So you got to think about, maybe you want to charge them full amounts, or you're going to give them breaks because they're not there in person. I would say they need full amounts, but I'm just one.
That's something I wanted feedback on. I agree. That's a big concern we've had.
And Luke, this is Steven. I'm kind of the same way, and I think we've talked about this a little bit, is if we are offering it free or even at a discounted rate, then it's just going to encourage people not to go. There are going to be people that are worried And we want to provide them an option to attend in some format, but we don't want to incentivize people not to go. That creates a burden on the section that will cause us problems in actually carrying this out for the people that want to be there. There is still a reduction in cost for the people that choose not to go if they choose to use the virtual format, because they don't have the travel cost, they don't have the hotel cost, so on and so forth. So the overall attendance is still less, even if we're charging the full amount for the sessions themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be easier on our end as far as the county not charging 2 different rates. And like I said, if we go the hybrid format, I can guarantee we can do some kind of format. I just don't know if we can go the full virtual where they can see, people online can see and talk and interact. I'm still trying to work those details out, but that'll be the tricky part. But is there any, Jason sent out some material about, we can potentially buy our own equipment for around $1,000, and if you buy the equipment, then you own it, and I think hybrid meetings are going to be around for the foreseeable future. I know TSITE has done that as well. They've bought their own equipment so they can host their own hybrid format meetings. Anybody have any?
You also have to dedicate staff to manage that process the whole time.
Yeah, we can spend $1,000 buying the equipment. I still need help running it. And I've got some pretty good support, it looks like. I had 14 people respond saying they'll help, but there's still the feasibility of getting, you need 2 laptops and 2 operators to moderate everything, make sure everything goes smoothly. And this is the first time we've done it. It'll probably have some hiccups, like anything else. So I don't know, do you want to take a vote? I mean, do we have any, does anybody feel strongly one way or the other what to do as far as just go hybrid format, buy our own equipment, or you definitely want to do in person?
I guess part of that depends on kind of what the future meetings will be too. If our next, I guess if the fall meeting will be hybrid, or if it's going to be online only, or if it's just the one-time thing for the summer.
Yeah, that's a good point. If we buy the equipment, somebody has to keep up with it, store it, and bring it. Like I said, that'd be on secretary treasurer, I guess, or vice president. But keeping up with the equipment, and I mean, I said I hope by fall we can meet all in person in Chattanooga. But would we consider offering the hybrid format in Chattanooga as well this fall?
Hey, Lucas, Kenneth, what all equipment will we be purchasing? With just like maybe a camera, or are you saying we need to buy a complete laptop for this?
Well, this actually came from Jason Carter, so he provided some stuff from, I guess, Rotary Club, but there's a lot of, this is a quote I got from the hotel, but I mean, mics and cameras, there's different switching equipment you need to go between the PA system and the computer, the video transcoder. This is a quote from the, see, it was almost
you have to have,
but this is what I got from Jason Carter and his Rotary Club. They're showing around $1,000 to buy. This is the bare minimum. You need a camera, battery, microphone, memory card, audio cables, and that doesn't include the laptops or the operators.
Yeah, and in that setup, I would think, Luke, that the laptop, whatever laptop you're using, you're gonna have to have some type of sound modulator on it. Like you have to have something that's gonna function as a soundboard. Otherwise, you're gonna get the feedback.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Is you're gonna have feedback if you try to hook up the PA system in the room with people talking online. It's not a simple thing.
Hey, Luke, this is Steve Allen. We have all of our presentations that we can, either provide during the meeting, before the meeting, after the meeting, and just about everybody has them ready, before the meeting.
Yep.
So they'll have the presentations. There might be a way to do a simple recording that they hear maybe the questions and answers. But other than that, I don't think we need to be spending the money for either one of these options with that few people. I think the maybes were kind of including me, waiting to see, what the environment was going to be like. Since we just started going back to the office, things are looking better. And as long as, nothing goes haywire between now and July, we plan on attending. So I think your maybes are going to turn into yeses. And so I know the 8 people would like to be virtual, and I understand that. Nobody's been more cautious about this situation than I have, but there's ways that we can accommodate that.
And this is a question for anybody on the call, because I just don't know the answer to this. Will there be any issues if we provide the videos? Will people be able to get PDH credits from watching a recording of that sort?
Yeah, I don't know how they prove they watched the video, but I mean, we're self-reporting anyway for the meetings we have now.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I mean, like me, I would never report that I received credit from that if I knew that I wasn't allowed to. But I would say that that's something we need to have an idea for the people that want to get credits, but they don't want to be there and they would only have the video option, just to make sure that we can provide them the proper information.
Hey, Stephen, this is Cindy. I know last year at the international meeting, because they were encouraging everybody to attend all of the sessions, and obviously they were running more than one track at a time, they made the presentations available for like 3 months after the meeting. And it was this, and you were supposed to go online, watch it, and then they would send, I believe they sent you your certificate after that, but it was only available for that 3-month period after the meeting. And I think the videos went up within probably about 2 days of the actual event itself from when it was first presented.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Cindy. I mean, to me, I think if we can use that option, I believe it kind of gives the people that are not going to be comfortable coming an opportunity to still, see the presentations that they want to see, get the PDH credits that they need. Obviously the social interaction part is different, which, I mean, I know everybody's been into all these big virtual social things, but I'm not the I guess the social type for that. So I haven't participated much in those activities. But I think that kind of gives us an option. I think that's something that's more cost effective and will be far easier for us to manage.
Well, I was in terms of cost, the question I have for you is, say you only end up with your, say, 24 folks who attend in person. What does that do for you on costs and food and stuff? Will you still, will you take a hit because it's not the usual gathering that we get at a summer meeting?
Well, I would think one item that we would want to do is have a registration deadline. And if you don't register within a certain amount of time, and I mean, we're already at the end of May. So I would say that we have registration open if we're going to choose to move forward with the in-person meeting. Open registration, probably close it by the end of June. And or at least have a deadline by the end of June. And if you do not register by the end of June, then that amount goes up for you. That way we can have a firm number, and then we cut off registration maybe a couple of weeks beforehand. That way we have a firm number of people for the actual cost for food. Because that's
Steven?
rolling items. Yes.
I'm on the financial side here because we took a hit in Murfreesboro at that time because people didn't show up when we thought they would. I would have a stiffer penalty for when the fee goes up if they want to show up at the door. Right now it's what, a $15 difference or 20 or something like that. I forgot what it was before COVID.
Yeah, I agree with that. It should be.
So we need to have a stiffer penalty to let them know that we need your pre-registration. It's really important for this meeting until we get a handle on these virtual combined meetings. But I would have a stiffer penalty. So if you want to show up at the door and not pre-registered, just know you're going to be paying a different price.
Yeah, and
Well,
I agree with that.
Another question, for having the hotel, I mean, typically you have to have a minimum dollar amount that you're spending on food so that you can get like the space free and whatnot. What kind of agreement do you have with the hotel?
I don't remember the specifics off the top of my head anymore. I think the contract that Luke and them are still working off of is the one that I signed because we just rolled that over from last year. But there are specific amounts of people that we need. There's also specific amounts of rooms that we should they're requesting us to book.
Right.
They've been super flexible with us. Since all this started, and we've been there for so long, they want to continue keeping us going forward in the future. So those are all items that we will need to sit down and work out. But if we can get a good idea pretty quickly about who's going to go, then that will help us with that decision very fast.
To answer that question, I just looked up the contract. I'm guessing this is still the current contract, but you've got 50 nights in the hotel as part of the contract. And looking at the food, trying to scroll through it. But that gives you a pretty good idea. 50 hotel nights.
Yeah. That hotel room block expires, I think, June 26th, something like that, towards the end of June.
Yeah. And she'll just extend it for us if we need to. I don't think there's ever been an issue with that. But we'll also be registering rooms for the students that choose to come do their presentations, that are receiving awards and doing their papers. So we take up some of the rooms through that. But yeah, I say that I don't have a copy of the contract. I think, Luke, you have a copy of the current contract.
Yeah, I've got it.
I think it's in the Gmail account, but I can't access Gmail Drive from the city. So I think we need to take a look at that, but we can lay out the specific guidelines. And if we don't have enough registrants, I say in June, then we would have to see what our options are.
Okay. So I guess we'll move forward with getting registration set up and the hotel block information out and see what kind of response we get.
Yeah, and I would just I would speak with Sarah about kind of what we're doing and what we're hoping to accomplish with this, and just see what flexibility or information that she'll give you regarding our flexibility with the hotel. I think they're going to want to accommodate us in a way because they haven't had a lot of events there for the last year, right? So
Yep.
they're going to want people there spending money, even if it's a smaller amount than they're used to from us.
Yeah, she's been very helpful on the phone. I've talked to her past couple months. So
okay. Well, I think we have an idea about how we're going to roll forward with this, and that kind of handles the summer meeting. And I I'm all for everybody showing up for the summer meeting and us having the summer meeting. My daughter really wants us to be in Gatlinburg this summer. So, and she's getting bigger and she's a little feisty. So I'll have her start calling you guys on a daily basis until you all agree to show up. And I think the last meeting that you have on here, Luke, was the fall meeting for Chattanooga. Did you have anything that you wanted to talk about on that meeting?
I mean, hopefully that'll be all in person. That's my goal right now. That's the last time we were supposed to meet was in Chattanooga. So I'm just picking up where we left off before COVID. But
Yeah.
I had Chattanooga / virtual. I took the virtual off, so I'm hoping we can do all in person.
Yeah, and I'm pretty hopeful about this. I think everything will work out for Gatlinburg. I mean, even in Memphis, where I think we've been the most restrictive city probably in the state about everything, we're pretty close to being fully open at this point. So we'll have to see how things go for the next couple of weeks, but the case numbers keep dropping. Our number of people with vaccines and things of that nature have gone or continue to go up. It's slowing down a bit, but it will all hopefully work out. I'm a optimist, so we'll go with that. All right. If no one has any other comments regarding the meetings, we'll go ahead and move into the old business section of the meeting. This has been on the items for maybe the last two meetings now. We had submitted the section bylaws and charter updates, or section 5.3 clarifying the responsibility of the section related to chapters and student chapters, and 6.2 to handle a tie with the section administrator. Those will be part of the changes that will be made by the technical committee as they're updating the manuals, including in the operation manual. The 2021 Leadership ITE class included 2 members from Southern District, Terrence Hill from our section, and Ryan Eckenrode from South Carolina. We have this has already been mentioned once throughout the meeting, but we have a new chapter, ITE student chapter at UT Chattanooga. Mr. Kevin Comstock is going to be serving as their professional advisor, working with the students at the school. And student scholarship updates. The Bill Hart scholarships also being added into the operations manual. And we have voted and approved upping the funding levels for other scholarships, and all those changes are also being made in the operations manual. We are now past the 2021 Southern District ITE meeting. That was not too long ago. The last couple of months have been a little bit of quick for me, so I don't remember exactly when that happened. I did help speak at one of the sessions. And from the times I was able to be focused and actually attentive to the sessions, they all seem to go really well. We've already talked about our section members who have received awards and the fact that we were runner-up as the section of the year. So we have a lot of wonderful things going on in our section, and the team with the Southern District that put that together. They did an amazing job getting that large of an event together and coordinated for the virtual activities. There was a lot of effort on the leadership development team to put together a couple of sessions with the mentoring session. I know I had a number of people tell me that went really well. I ended up having a meeting conflict and wasn't able to attend or see how that went myself. But from the word of mouth, it seemed to have gone really well. And then the other leadership development session focusing on some of the items out of our Southern District IT leadership program. So we obviously submitted the 2020 TSITE annual report as part of the Southern District review process. Does anybody have any other old business items?
Stephen, it's Steve Allen. Before we leave
Yes,
that, on the Bill Hart Scholarship, when that is done, please send that to me so I can send that to his wife and daughters. I still stay in touch with them, and I know they'd like to see that and be officially in the manual.
Yes, sir.
Also, our plan is to have our 2 tournaments this year. They're going to be fall tournaments. We don't have the dates set just now, but we're planning on that. Tommy has recovered from his rotator cuff surgery, so he's going to be back in the fold here, and so we're going to plan on getting that done. So we'll be able to contribute our scholarships, and whatever the funding level is of those, if right now ours are 2,000, I know some of our other scholarships are 1,500. So whatever the highest amount is, we'll match whatever the board comes up with for the other scholarships. I just put some pressure on Tommy. He didn't know that, so we just raised the rates for the golf. So, but we're very happy to do that. It means a lot to their families. Plus, it means a lot to us to be able to contribute.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And will you be providing us some schedules on those golf tournaments so we can make sure that that notice gets out to everybody?
Yes, sir. We'll have those before the summer meeting. We'll send those out to the membership. And then plus we'll announce it again at the summer meeting. But we'll have the dates here real soon. Tommy's just now getting back to where he can play. We just want to make sure he was going to be okay. And then we want to make sure everything was going to be opening back up. So looking good right now. I'm like Luke, I'm trying to be optimistic for the fall.
I think that's the way everybody is at this point. So that's great to hear. I might actually even attempt to participate this year for the first time. It's a fun thing if you've ever seen me play golf. It's kind of a bad rendition of Caddyshack, if anything. So let's see. Well, moving on from that, we're looking at the new business. We've already talked about the ongoing planning regarding the hybrid meetings. I spoke a little bit about the Southern District during the Southern District ITE annual meeting. The Southern District ITE is also hosting these mentorship sessions. Everybody should be receiving emails regarding these. The last one was regarding different professional licensure. There's another one coming up. I didn't write down the date, but I know there's another one coming up soon. So
June 23rd.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll try to actually make notes of these things before I start running my mouth about them. These are a new tool that's something great for members to participate in and get a little bit more information about stuff, and especially the younger members. It's a great way to get to maybe you'll see people, you'll get to comment on things, but it kind of gives you a little bit of direction as you're transitioning through your career. We are still, I think, looking for a new webmaster. And we are having conversations regarding updates to the section's website. So anybody that is interested in that, I know Trey mentioned that he was interested in helping out with other things earlier, and I think people in the chat provided him about 6 or 7 different things already to do. But if you want to be webmaster, there's another one, Trey. And outside of that, does anybody have any other items for new business? Well, I'm not hearing anything or seeing hands or comments in the chat box. So with that, I hope to see all of you at the end of July in Gatlinburg. I'm really looking forward to actually seeing people again. So and with that, I'm sorry, Luke.
I'll do a motion to adjourn the meeting,
Yes.
officially in the meeting.
Yes, sir. So may I have a motion? Are you giving a motion, Luke? Is that what you're doing?
I'm asking you to do it, I guess, but yeah, so I'll second.
All right. So I have a motion and a second. Hearing no objections, this meeting is adjourned at 3:38. Thank you, everyone.